Good afternoon. I'm Erica Sargent.
And I'm Joe Donlin. Great to have you with us. We are live at the United Center, your convention headquarters. We are in the CBS News Chicago suite, and we do have breaking news if you're just joining us. One of the big questions about this convention, what would happen with the demonstrations that had been planned? Some 7 of them, the largest today. And as we've seen already just in the last half an hour or so, the protesters in one area have torn down the first line of security fences.
We have a team of reporters out here, Dave Savini on the ground, but Charlie DeMar has been watching this from the Green Line station at Damon. Charlie, you've been able to see from up above those protesters walking down the street and some of the what appeared to be officers putting on their riot gear as well.
And Joe and Erica, as you mentioned, we are at the Damon Green Line stop at about Damon and Lake. As you can see, this is the tail end of the protest here. They just turned from Damon onto Lake, where they're going to head back to Union Square. But I want to show you some video that you just mentioned from moments ago. This is from Washington at about Walcott, where we actually saw some of these protesters break down a fence. They made a hole into this fence and were able to actually breach that heavily fortified fence, at least one of the layers of defense that has been set up around the United Center here. So again, that has been one area where a group of protesters has broken off. But again, what we have seen here, pretty peaceful, but I want to show you another piece of video of protesters kicking down that fencing. And that, of course, has elicited a massive police response. Where we are now, you can get a better sense of the Chicago police officers that have made a line at the corner near Washington, near Damon rather, right there in the yellow vest. But just beyond them, we have seen a number of officers putting on helmets and riot gear. They've been standing there for about the last 15 minutes, just in preparation if they do need to get involved. It's unclear if there's been other officers in riot gear responding to that fence that has been breached. But the officers that we've seen here, we've seen them with shields, helmets, and also loading what looked like pepper canisters, just in case. Again, we have not seen them use those pepper canisters or pepper guns, but they are definitely ready in case they need to jump into action. The protest, as we showed you moments ago, by us, peaceful, about a few blocks away is where that fencing is. We, of course, are going to keep an eye on not only on this protest, but also the Chicago Police Department response, guys.
Charlie, thanks very much for the update.
Now we want to go to our Tara Molina. She is also out there on the side of the protest in the middle of some of those crowds. So, Tara, what are you seeing?
Erica and Joe, we actually had to step back for our own safety. I was just wrapping up a live shot with you guys, and protesters lined up against the barricade behind me and started shaking it. We realized then things were starting to go south. This was with a much smaller group from this protest group. And then pretty quickly, they got one of the barriers down, started crawling through. Shortly thereafter, hammers came out. And once people started crossing that barrier, something that they're not supposed to do, police quickly moved in, and we saw a real change of tone here. People surrounded our camera, tried to block our camera using signs, tried to block us. We're very unhappy with our presence, that we were getting video of all of this unfolding. And then quickly thereafter, we saw Chicago police put on their gas masks. The riot police moved in, and now it's my understanding from live updates I'm getting from our security detail that people are actually inside being detained. We never crossed the barrier, but we were nearby, and we did see this get to a point of contention again when we were surrounded, that we just had to move away for our own safety. But do understand that folks inside are being detained by police. Don't believe that any other safety equipment or any police measures have been taken here, though, other than those arrests. I'm going to send it back to you guys. I know my colleague Dave Savini is here as well in a different position than I am.
Yes, Tara, we definitely want you to stay safe. Thank you, though, for your perspective out there among the protesters.
Let's go right now to CBS investigator Dave Savini, who was near the scene where this initial line of fencing came down. Dave, what's the latest there?
We had to move from our position. We were by those openings in the fences, but then the riot team came through to clean the street, a clean sweep of the street, and those protesters that were inside this area between the security fencing all started to run through the few holes that were made, and it was a mess. People were falling on the ground. Police started arresting people that had made it through. I've seen at least 4 people be taken away in cuffs. They're in their riot gear now. There's another fence that just came down. Police officer is scaling it at the moment. You can see Snelling, Superintendent Snelling is right in front of me right now with his head of the bioterrorism unit, Dwayne DeVries. They're waiting to take these people out of here, but they're in cuffs, and yeah, this is all happening right now live. Looks like the breach has been secured to a degree. That's the latest from here, guys.
Hey, Dave, I know we have a delay, but I'm hoping you can tell what is beyond that initial line of fencing that came down. And is there, I guess, anywhere for these protesters to go once they've cleared that initial barrier?
Well, they have to clear 2 barriers, so they have a double security wall. So they've made it into the center. It's the same setup on both sides of the street. Concrete barriers that are resting on top of these massive, probably 200-pound steel gates. They have a locking device in the middle, and the people work together to unhook the locks and systematically started to dismantle them. And this, again, I want to talk, this is like a rogue group that showed up here. This is not the main protest. So once they leapt over those fences, it was a field day in there, and then they were trying to take down the next layer, the next fence, if you will. I am just north of the United Center. I am behind a main fence, and then there's the street, Washington, and then there's another fence. And then you have the United Center. That's the sort of the view I can give you. And I said, Superintendent Snelling is here. He's walking down the center right now. A vote of confidence that his people have it under control. Something's happening. Another fence was just taken down. We'll keep monitoring it here for you.
Dave, thank you. We will be coming back to you shortly. You know, this is something that we talked about last night with our political analysts. We've talked about it with security experts as well. The concern that although there would be peaceful protesters, there would be outside agitators, professional protesters perhaps. We don't know exactly who this group is that could be the ones causing a disruption, some damage, violence among this. And from Dave's vantage point, it seems that that may be the case, as he said, and Charlie as well, that it seemed that it started off peaceful and another group came and seemed to be the ones to break off and then break down this fencing.
And it's important to point out, too, that the larger group has definitely continued to move on back to Union Park, it appears anyway. But as the law enforcement experts have been telling us along the way here, Erica, they play nice at first, right? They don't show up in riot gear, but if things escalate, then the police escalate as well, and that's what we saw with some of the helmets coming out and some of the riot gear as well, as they tried to clear out that crowd that had breached that initial fence.
And Superintendent Snelling, his message has been very consistent. He said if there is a reason where they are violating the law, there will be arrests. He does not want it to come to that, but he's been very clear that he wanted to make sure it was peaceful. And in this instance, when we're starting to see some of the people on the ground, some of those people potentially being arrested, that seems to be consistent with what he said the strategy would be.